Alrighty. Alrighty. Well, welcome to the Fire Dispatcher 1 Zoom information session. We're holding this session just so everybody has a chance to ask questions. This is kind of a process to get through the recruitment, and it is continuous. So we are doing a few of these sessions. We're going to do multiple written exams, multiple oral exams, just so everyone has a chance to apply. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If you can't see it, please let me know. Okay. Everyone see it?
Yes.
Yes.
All righty. Go ahead and send me a message if you can't. I'm going to see if I can get. All righty. Welcome to our Zoom session. I'm Tanya Wilson. I'm the Human Resources Analyst in charge of the recruitment. I have been the one sending you the millions of emails that you've been getting. I appreciate everyone responding and asking questions. So tonight's agenda, we're going to do the introduction of the fire department staff we have here with us. They are also available for questions. We're going to review the job bulletin. We'll do an overview of the position and talk about a sit-along opportunity that we encourage our dispatchers to do. We'll do a quick review of the personal history statements, and then we'll allow for questions at the end. This should be a very quick Zoom session, probably 30, 45 minutes the most. All right, so we'll have the BFD introduce themselves, starting with Jimmy.
Hello, my name is Jimmy Cherry. I'm Deputy Chief for the Bakersfield Fire Department.
Hey guys, I'm John Wiggins. I'm a captain with the fire department in the arson unit. I'll be doing your backgrounds.
Hi, I'm Hillary Leff. I'm a supervisor here at the dispatch center.
My name is Kay McGahey, also a supervisor at Fire Dispatch.
Awesome. All right, so now I'll go ahead and review the bulletin. If anyone has any questions, let me know. I'll try to make it so I can see everybody, or you can put it in the chat. So we'll start with the minimum qualifications. You'll have to have a GED, high school diploma, a typing certificate of 35 net words per minute. We do also accept online typing certificates. So if you work full-time or you're not able to make it down in person to do it, you can definitely do an online certification, but it has to be 35 net words per minute. And I do have to have a copy of the actual certificate. So I can't just, you can't just send me the certification number. I need the actual PDF, or if you want to just snap a picture and email it to me, but we need it attached to your application as well. So if you've submitted an application, but you didn't attach it, you can either go back in, log into government jobs and attach it, or you can email it to our HR email, which is also connected to that. And I can put that in the chat too. And then you'll have to successfully pass a background investigation. So once you receive an offer, then they'll send you the packet, and then we'll have Jonathan talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. You do have to be 18 years of age, and you have to be able to work shift work. This is the big one. So this includes night shifts, weekends, holidays. There is a shift differential paid to employees working the night shift. It's 90 cents to $1.25 per hour. Depending on the shift. So we'll also talk a little bit more about that. The pay starts at $18.85, and then it goes to $22.91 per hour. This is the monthly down here, and then the work schedules. Hillary, can you explain the work schedule? You're a little bit better at that.
Sure. We work 12-hour shifts, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Sometimes we have to implement a 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. shift when we're short-staffed to try to make up. And we just rotate like that every 2 weeks.
All right. And then these are the important dates. So for this February, the written exam is going to be on the 15th. So if you haven't submitted your typing certificate with your application or emailed it to us, please do that. Otherwise, you won't be sent the written exam. If you have submitted that and I do send you the written exam, I'll probably send it. It'll definitely be the morning of the 15th, and you'll have all day to take it. It's going to be an online test. You need to make sure that you have at least 2.5 hours to take it and that you have no distractions, because you are going to have to multitask and you're going to get frustrated if you have a bunch of distractions going on in the background. So definitely try and keep quiet around you and set aside a good amount of time for the test. That will really help you. If you don't pass it, you can apply for the next round in March and then you can retake it. And then February 28th, those are going to be our oral interviews, it's a scored interview. So if you score, in the top, however many requisitions we have, I believe we have 6. So if you score in the top 8, you'll go to the chief for a second interview, and then they'll do hiring from there. If you pass, meaning you got a 70, but you didn't score in the top 8, then you'll stay on the list. And if they need another dispatcher, another position opens up, they'll continue to call for 6 months. You'll stay on that list. And then after that, once you've received an offer, the personal history statement will be due. So it's going to be part of your background. Jonathan will talk about that in a little bit.
Cool.
And then we do have sit-alongs. We offer sit-alongs. Hillary and Kay, if you want to kind of talk a little bit about that.
Go ahead.
Okay. I would encourage each of you to call that phone number and schedule with the on-duty supervisor for a 2-hour sit-along. You can do it every day, I believe, but Sundays. And because we are 24 hours, it can work around anybody's schedule. That way you get to actually hear and see exactly what you will be expected to be doing.
Yeah. This is a big job, so it is it's a good opportunity to do a sit-along. It's only 2 hours and it really makes a difference. So call the number. If you forget the number, you don't write it down, you can email me. I've sent you emails, so you can respond and I'll send that to you. And then Jonathan, if you want to talk a little bit about your part of it.
Yeah, okay, so once the conditional job offers go out, I will send you a personal history statement. We'll give you about 2 weeks to fill that out. Once we'll schedule you to come in and meet for a live scan and to review your personal history statement. The things inside your personal history statement are things such as work history, any references that you have, drug use, criminal charges, things like that. We ask that you just put everything down. It's all self-explanatory. Put it down. It's better to put it down, and then you'll have your opportunity to explain yourself and go over things. It's better to put it down and explain it than me find out later and have to ask you about it. So there's very few things that are automatic disqualifications, but one thing that is a intentional omission that would get you disqualified. So put it down, and then we'll go over it.
And then these are the
Any questions on the backgrounds? Okay.
And these are the documents that they're going to require from you. Are these all required?
Yeah.
Like they don't have...
So these are, not everybody will have this. This is a standard thing. If these apply to you, bring it in. Not everybody's going to have all of these, but whatever pertains to you, bring it in. What are you going to say?
Yeah, just like Captain Wiggins was saying, some of this stuff won't apply to you guys, and so if it doesn't, don't bother. You don't have to bring it in, but if you do have it, just bring it.
Like
Better to have more than less if you don't have it and you need it.
Because this is what our firefighters get too. So firefighter 1 certificate, you'll see on there. Obviously, you guys aren't going to have a lot of this stuff. So yeah, just bring in what applies to you. Oh, one other thing I wanted to add was high school transcripts, college transcripts. A lot of times you don't have the opportunity to get the sealed originals. I'm flexible on that. If you can get online and get your temporary ones that are not the official transcripts, I'm fine with that. I'm flexible there. So just bring in what you can and we'll go from there.
Alrighty. All right, so we've come down to the Q&A already. You can ask questions about the position, work schedules, work environment, the bulletin, the typing certs, anything that you have questions on.
I can answer that one in chat. This is a full-time permanent position, not seasonal.
It does have all benefits.
Yes.
Yes.
I came across the the post on Facebook, and I just joined the meeting. I haven't actually submitted my application. That's why I asked direct message if I was still able to submit my application online.
Yeah, absolutely. You can, anyone can still submit applications. You can edit your application. If you need to add to that application, your typing certificate, you have time. We are going to be running the recruitment into March as well. So if you're not able to take the written in February, or you're not able to go to the oral, you can resubmit for March. I'm just going to keep sending everybody the writtens and all the emails. So
I just did my typing with America's Job Center. Do you guys accept those typing certificates?
yes, we do. So definitely submit that. I'm going to put right now the email that you can send it to in the chat, which is admhrs@bakersfieldcity.us. Online typing certificates. I know Rated Type we accept, and there's a couple more in there that I can email to you. But our list isn't exhaustive. So if you have an online one, submit it to that email. And if it's not acceptable, we'll let you know, but we accept most of them. As long as it shows the certificate and it says 35 or more net words per minute, we'll usually accept it. And it also has to be within, I want to say, a year or 2 years of when you received it. So it has to be valid still within a year.
How many positions are you guys hiring for?
I believe 6.
6.
Yes.
6. So we'll have 6 open positions. And then as far as the oral exams go, we'll refer 8 names for interviewing, and then they'll pick the 6 out of there.
I just wanted to tell you guys again how important it is to do a sit along. I've been in this job, both of us, over 20 years, and a lot of people think they want to be a 911 dispatcher, or they really want to. They don't really know what the job is about. I highly suggest you call that number and schedule your 2-hour sit along. You really get to sit down and see what the job is all about, because sometimes it's just not what you really think it is. It's a very, very high-paced, high-stress job, but it can be very rewarding also.
Absolutely.
Can you guys provide that number once again?
The number? Yeah. There it is.
Thank you.
Is there a study guide for the written exam? Not that I'm aware of. We do our written exams online through Critical. I don't know if there's a study guide. Another person asked, is there anything specific that we should study? I can't say too much, but definitely you will be multitasking. There is an audio portion. You will have to remember a lot of things. So definitely make sure that you set aside the time. It is a long test. And so if you don't set aside enough time and you feel rushed and there's noise in the background, it's going to be very difficult. So if you're going to take this test, I really do suggest you set aside at least 2.5 hours and you make sure that there's quiet around you. I know that can be hard taking things from home. So kind of prepare for that. You will have all day to take it. I'll send it to you at 8:30 in the morning, and then you'll have until 11:59 p.m. to complete it. So no rush on when you take it. It doesn't matter what time you take it, as long as you take it on the 15th. But make sure you pick a time and a place that is going to be, quiet, and you'll have enough time to do it.
I see somebody's asking about multiple sit-alongs. There's not a rule against it. However, like there's 35 people in this Zoom session, so we have to accommodate everybody. The supervisor will be at their discretion when they start setting them all up. Because usually when we have these Zoom meetings, we get a lot of people calling in for them. So yes. Another person asked about, we're fire and medical. So we do all fire and medical emergency 911. When you first call 911, you will speak to a law enforcement agency. And then if you have a fire or medical emergency, they transfer you to us. And then we do all the medical, and we teach you and train you how to do the medical over the phone.
Someone's asking, can you explain the rotating shifts again?
Sure, it's kind of hard. We do 12-hour shifts, like I said, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So if you have a 2-week period, your first week you work Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. and you're off Wednesday and Thursday. Then the next week, you work Wednesday and Thursday, and you're off Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That doesn't mean there's not overtime or other stuff that you can pick up on your days off, but that's the rotating schedule every other week. So you have a potential of having 5 days off every other week. We do work a 42-hour work week, so you get every 2 weeks, you'll have 4 hours of overtime built into your paycheck. Does that make sense?
Okay, as far as the typing certificates, I'm gonna have to look at the list we have. I will send it to everybody. I have been sending reminders, so I can send it today or tomorrow morning, and there will be a list. At the bottom of that list is the online typing certificates that we accept. I'm not too sure about freetypinggame.net. I'll have to double check on that one if you want to email me. But usually we'll accept most of them. And I saw another question. Which website do I apply? It's going to be governmentjobs.com, or you can go to the Bakersfield City website under Human Resources Department. You can look at the employment opportunities and you can search fire dispatcher and apply from there, but it is governmentjobs.com. I'll put my email in the chat in just a moment. And then, is it best to do this test with headphones? Yes. I highly suggest doing it with headphones. If you have any issues with it, if it's before 5, you can email me or call Critical, who we do the test through. They'll usually give you a support number. You can call them if it's a technical issue, or if you had an issue, you can email me and we can try to work it out. But try to get me, the day of. Don't wait until the next day to call or email if you have any issues. As far as age restriction, it's going to be 18 years or older. And then benefits, I can send you for sure. If you want to email me, I can send you our full benefits page, but it'll be our normal city benefits, which are also listed on our website. So paid vacation, sick leave, and then medical, dental, vision, insurance. But if you want to know the details of those, we have forms that I can send over. They're also under human resources on our website. Hillary, I think there's some more.
Yeah, the days and nights. So we bid by seniority every 6 months. We bid to whatever shift we like. However, the managers and the supervisors make sure that we don't have all new people or all senior people on one shift. So it's divided very equally. So every 6 months, you could go from days to nights. However, when you're in training, you will be switching from days to nights every 4 to 6 weeks. You'll switch to a new shift to train back and forth so you can get the experience of being on both days and nighttime.
Is it best to take the test on a computer? Yes, definitely take it on a computer. Desktop is good. When I send out the test, I will send instructions, and there is a little snippet about which browser is best to use. I think it's different on a Mac, and there will be instructions on that as well. If you are using a Mac, that's totally fine. It's just a little bit different, and the website will usually tell you if you're using a Mac, please adjust your settings to this. It is a little bit different for that, but definitely not good to take it on your phone. It will be very difficult, and I'm not sure it'll fully work. So take it on a desktop or a laptop if you can. Probationary period is 6 months.
It is 6 months. However, at the end of that 6 months, if you have not completed to where we can completely sign you off as a dispatcher, but we know and can tell that you have potential, we will still keep you in training longer, even though it's past your probation.
Would you work around college students' schedule?
Unfortunately, our schedules are set.
How long is training? That kind of depends, right, Hillary?
Yeah, it's usually 6 months to a year.
Yeah. So you'll have all the training you need. It's just a matter of getting through it.
Yes.
And making the effort. Are there any other questions? That I missed anything in the chat? There's anyone? Opportunities for growth.
You start off as a dispatcher 1, and then you can flex to a dispatcher 2 after about 3 to 5 years after you've got some wildland training and wildland fire seasons under your belt. That's discretionary up to the supervisors. And then there are supervisor positions. You just have to wait for one of those to become open and available to apply for.
I have a question. Is the rate of pay during your probation period, is that any different than when you are signed off on everything? And then I had a question about like putting in for a vacation. Is that kind of flexible if you do it ahead of time, or?
The vacation is usually after you're off of probation.
Yeah.
Obviously we'll work with somebody if they've got something planned that's, something special, or we want to work with people, and we can kind of, when you're in training, we can try to work around depending on what your needs are. What was the first part of the question?
Sorry, the rate of pay, is it any different after you're signed off? Is there any change?
Yes, there's steps that you go. So you'll start off as a dispatcher 1, then when you get off probation, you move up the next step, dispatcher 1, step A. Is it A?
Step 2.
Step 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there
5?
There's 5 in between?
Yeah, so it goes up to step 5. You'll start at step 1, and then once you hit your 6 months, if you pass probation, you'll go straight to step 2, and then a year later, step 3, and then until step 5.
Wow. Okay.
Do you send anyone to the academy?
What
No.
academy? What academy are you asking about?
If you're talking about the firefighter academy, that's a different recruitment, which is opening up soon, but this is for fire dispatchers. So you'll just be doing the 6-month training for dispatching.
Is that what you were asking? I don't know who the iPhone is.
I know where some dispatchers go to an academy.
Okay, we hold a class before you get out on the floor while you're in training. That's like an academy that we do here. However, there is the program or the training that we send you to get certified in what's called emergency medical dispatching and emergency fire dispatching. And they are called the International Academy of Emergency Medical Services. So that's why I was asking if that's what you were talking about.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. Are there any other questions? I know we just had someone else join. We're getting towards the end, but if there's any other questions.
Regarding being bilingual, does that make a difference in the pay rate or anything like that? Or do you guys certify people who are bilingual?
The city, I believe, you have to be certified through the city of Bakersfield to get that benefit.
Yeah.
Is that correct, Tanya?
Yeah, so if you have taken the test for bilingual pay and you pass it, I want to say it's through BC, but I can always send you the information. BC does one that you can get certified through, and then you would submit that to your department, and if they want to accept that, then you would get an extra pay for the bilingual during the certification pay days. How would you describe the average shift?
That's extremely hard to. You take 911 calls and we dispatch them. All different kinds of calls come in. Some days you don't have as much as others. Other days you have 5 or 6 structure fires and grass fires and a ton of medical aids in between there. So that's what's best to come and do a sit along so you can see all the different things you have to do. The next one, I'm not sure what the CHP's test is, so I don't know. I don't know if they use the critical test or not. So I'm not sure how to answer that, sorry.
What all is included in a background check, Jonathan?
Yeah, so the background is, we're gonna go over that personal history statement. It's pretty extensive. I wanna say it's like 20 pages long or so. It's pretty long. But we're gonna go over, we're gonna talk to all your references, your former employers, any drug use that you had. We'll run a criminal background check. You'll get live scanned, so you'll do the live scan process. So we really dive into anything that's in your past. But like I said before, it's not, there's very few things that are automatic disqualifications. So you guys will get the opportunity to sit down with me or my partner and go over anything that you have issues on, and especially like drug use, we do that. That's pretty much case by case. We look at the totality of your background and go from there. I know it's kind of a vague answer, but we dive into that whole personal history statement. So the background takes a while to complete. You'll meet with me for about an hour, but it takes me, in addition to meeting with you for an hour, a long time to go talk to everybody that you've worked for, all your references. I hope that kind of answered your question. Do you have anything more specific, or does that kind of answer your question?
Does that answer it, Nisha? Yes. Okay. Donna, if they use critical testing, I don't know if it'll be similar. It may be, they may use something similar, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, they might have similar things on there. Do you schedule the sit along before you get picked for the job? Yes, you can do the sit along whenever you want to, even if you're, not wanting to apply until March. Anyone can do the sit along, and we highly recommend it. Is there a time frame / limit to calls? Do you have to have a certain amount of calls per day?
No, there's no time limit, or which just however many calls come in, we have to answer them.
Okay. I'm gonna put my email. Okay. Did I miss any questions?
What are some qualities of an ideal employee for this position? What do you think is beneficial to this role?
Can I answer that, Tanya? I'm not sure what I can say,
Yeah.
You have to be able to multitask. You have to be able to stay extremely calm during very volatile situations. You have to think very quick. You have to move quick. You have to be able to work with a lot of people in the room in loud environments. Usually a dispatcher is a type A, very organized person.
I would add in empathy and compassion.
Yes.
A lot of our calls are dealing with people with special needs and mental illnesses. And so you have to change gears pretty quickly, depending on the caller that you're getting.
Are there any other questions?
That's good.
All questions are good questions.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Ask them. Now would be the time. And I do want to say, say you don't pass the written exam, you can take it in March. I would keep trying if you don't. It is, it is a difficult test. It is a little bit of a stressful test because it is very similar to the job. So if you don't pass it and you want to retake it, I will resend it in March. We haven't decided on the dates yet. We will be doing another Zoom session, so you can attend the other Zoom session if you want as well. And I would encourage you to do that. But if there's any other questions, we're happy to answer them. Now is definitely the time. As far as the typing certificate questions, I will send out a notice with the typing certificate locations and online typing certificates. I'll send that out tomorrow morning so that everybody has it. If you have not submitted it. If you have submitted it and I have you as passing already, then I won't send it to you. But if you haven't submitted it, I'll send it to you. And then you can apply until, I'm thinking Monday the 13th is probably when I'll do the cutoff for February's written exam. The 14th at the latest, but you can apply until the 13th. And I encourage you to apply. And then once you do apply, I'll send you the written exam on February 15th and you'll have all day to take it. It's online. I know a few people joined late. So it is an online test and you have the full day to take it. Please set aside at least 2.5 hours and make sure that you have quiet around you because you're going to want to hear everything on that test and you're going to want to be able to think. Is there any other questions? I don't have the chat up. Let me see. The oral appraisal and the test. I can't say what the test is about. It is very similar to the job. You will have to have your audio on and you'll have to do a lot of memory recall. That's kind of all I can say. What is the oral? Oh, I'm sorry. The oral appraisal is an oral interview. So once you pass the written exam, you'll go to the oral interview, which is just a scored interview. You'll have 3 people asking you interview questions. You'll get a score on that. And if you score in the top, I want to say 8, since we have 6 positions open, then you'll be referred to the chief interviews. And then they'll do the hiring from there. So it's just an interview that you're going to be graded on.
What is the score for it to be passed, to consider it as a passing test?
70 is passing. So if you get a 70 and up, you're passing. You'll stay on that list for 6 months. So if they open any more positions, they'll continue to call you for 6 months. If you score in the top 8, then you'll go straight to another interview. Where do you apply again? It's going to be governmentjobs.com, or you can go to our website. I'll put that in the chat. Under Human Resources Department, you'll be able to look at all the open jobs and it'll have a link to apply for fire dispatcher. Hillary, how would the schedule look for the training once they're hired?
They'll usually be in a classroom setting for probably 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks. After that, you'll go on to what we call the floor, the dispatch floor, and you'll be with a trainer. Then that's when you will switch between the 2 day shifts and the 2 night shifts. So every 4 to 6 weeks, you'll get a new trainer to move on and continue with your training. We will send you to an emergency medical dispatching training class. Those are like 3-day classes for the emergency medical and then emergency fire dispatching.
For sit-alongs, are they a certain amount of hours? Is there a cutoff time that sit-alongs cannot happen?
We usually do them in 2-hour increments. They're usually between 8 and 11. We try not to schedule them right at noon because that's when we'll probably eating lunch and or in the afternoon till probably about 5 p.m. At 5 or between 5 and 6 is when we do shift change. So we try not to schedule them then. In the evening time, it's usually 7 to 9 p.m. And they are 2-hour.
Every day but Sunday.
Every day but Sunday, correct.
Yeah.
Are there graveyard options?
What do you mean for?
Our graveyards start at 6 p.m., which is 1800 to 0600. And so you can do an evening shift, usually 7 to 9 p.m.
Okay.
Which is a good time. It's a pretty good volume at that time of evening.
Do you guys have a start date in mind for all of this?
They have to get through first the interviews and then they have to go through background, which could take a couple of weeks, few weeks, John, and then the chief's interviews. So it's a process.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a written test, an oral exam. If you pass the oral exam, then you'll go to the chief's interviews. And then if they say, okay, you're hired, then you would go through your background. So it varies. Could be a month, could be a couple months. But it is a process to get through it.
But just so everybody will know, we're gonna try to move this along as quickly as possible.
We are, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Tina.
Yes.
We don't want it to take a month or 2 months.
No.
And so it kind of depends. Jonathan, do you have like a ballpark of how long the backgrounds take, or does it depend?
So so I'm going to give you guys 2 weeks to fill out the background. If you guys can get it done faster, we can move things along quicker than that. But we like to give them 2 weeks to get all their documents and everything. And then after that, then it just depends on how many we're doing. If we're doing 8, we can knock it out. We can knock it out pretty quick. Within that month, we can have, or I would say after that 2 weeks, another week, we can have it all done. So the process moves pretty quick. In the past, if I've sent them the documents and they say, hey, I have it all filled out today, we can move it a lot sooner than, it kind of depends on you guys. So I say 2 weeks, but it can be faster.
Would it be preferred to have experience in this field, such as a call center, administrative, or medical?
Call center and medical is definitely going to be a big help. Administrative is kind of wide. I'm not quite sure. I mean, definitely stuff, being able to work on a computer, any medical background or medical history is always a plus, to know the terminology and when you're talking to people. You don't have to have it though.
Several of our employees were EMTs before becoming dispatchers. So I definitely a plus, but it's not necessary at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't let anything discourage you either, because even if you don't have any experience, but say you pass the written test, you're a great multitasker and you're able to stay calm, you can definitely learn. So all you absolutely have to have is these minimum qualifications. So typing certificate, B18, pass that background. And obviously you have to be able to work the night shifts, weekends, and holidays. But if you can do those things and you have those, don't let it discourage you. You could be great at it. And you just never know.
And to add to that, I don't want to discourage anybody, but typically people move through this list quite quickly. And so if you're not on the first list, don't give up. Don't think that that's it. You're never going to get it, because people, like I said, there's a lot of people that think they want to do it and they don't really realize what's involved until they get up here and they start training, and then they realize that they just can't. And that's normal. That's nationwide. That's not just our center. That happens all over. So don't get discouraged if you're higher on the list than the number of people that we have or positions we have open, because they do move quickly.
Yeah, if you pass the oral exam and you're number 10 on the list and you don't get referred, it could be a matter of weeks or days, until you get a call. So keep that in mind. Those lists are good for 6 months. Are there any other questions? I appreciate everyone hanging out and continuing to ask questions. These are good questions, and we're recording it, so anyone that's not able to make it will definitely benefit from any questions that you ask. Anything else? What were the times that would be available for sit-ins? Is it 8 to 11 and 7 to 9?
8 till 11 in the morning, 1 to 5 in the afternoon, and then 7 to 9 in the evening. And we're very flexible, and we will work with you if you want to come on times that aren't exact to that. But those are just good times for the dispatch floor.
And if you want to do a sit along, here's the phone number. I'll put it in the chat real quick, just in case you want to copy and paste it.
Where are you guys located?
We're on Panorama and Mount Vernon. We're directly across from BC, Bakersfield College. When you're coming off of Panorama, our address is 2601 Panorama Drive. It's quite a compound to get into, but you just pull up to the gate and hit number 2 for fire, it buzzes into our office or our dispatch center, and then they'll tell you how to get back over to where we're at.
Okay. And then dress code, I think I saw it very briefly.
Business casual.
Okay. And then question about tattoos and piercings. What are your policies?
Tanya, do you have the city's policy on that?
It kind of depends. I know PD allows tattoos. I don't think we have a set policy against them. So I'll have to double check on that and get back to you, Caitlin, because I don't think we have any.
There's a lot of government agencies that are reviewing their tattoo policies right now, so it's kind of hard to answer that. As it stands right now in our dispatch center, we are required to have them covered.
Okay.
We don't have I don't think we have a piercing policy.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll have to double check in the morning with the HR manager and double check, because I don't want to give you the wrong information, but it sounds like in fire they require the tattoos to be covered.
Could that be
Okay.
an issue to disqualify you for the job? Say if your tattoos are visual? that you
No, absolutely not.
Any more?
And just so
questions?
you guys will know about the tattoos, I can let you know, the fire department just redid our tattoo policy. So as long as it's not offensive, you can have tattoos that are visible. So that would be something we'd have to visit with the dispatch center, because we have a joint facility, a city-county facility. But as far as the fire department, just like Tanya was saying, PD has reviewed their tattoo policies just like we have. And so tattoos are now, as long as they're not offensive or what's the other word, sexually explicit, you can actually have them visible.
The reason that we still don't have them shown in our dispatch center is this is a joint center. Some of our dispatchers are employed by Kern County Fire, some by Bakersfield City Fire. We all do the exact same job up here, but we just get different paychecks, and the county has not signed off on having them shown. So as it stands right now, we still have them covered.
Okay.
So the exam is more like a simulation, correct? I would say it is similar to a simulation. Yes, without saying too much.
Yes.
What is the hair dress code? I don't think we have a hair dress code, as long as it's not in your way and it's safe. Hillary, do you have a hair dress code?
I don't think we do. I can check on that and I'll email you and let you know tomorrow. The hand tattoo, we do have people here that have them, and they wear a glove that have no fingers on the,
Yeah.
so they can type.
I've never seen those before.
Oh, you
Yeah,
haven't? Yeah.
You can hardly tell. It's not like thick or anything.
No,
just
it's like a real thin.
Okay.
There are websites that have lots of tattoo covers. Just Google it, and there's even Amazon has a bunch of them.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. All right. Any more questions?
For the cover for the hand tattoo, because I have one. It kind of goes down my finger. It's a lollipop for a horror movie. Do I have to just find a glove with one finger, or how does that work?
Whatever you can find. If you can find one with one, you can
Okay.
probably make one.
Or just cut off the fingers?
Yeah.
All right.
Any more questions? I haven't even thought about dress code. Maybe we add a slide for dress code, because these are some good questions. Anything else? There's some good ones, and this is recorded, so if you joined late, I believe they will be posting it, and I will try to send it out to anyone that has applied, just in case you missed anything. We did go through the PowerPoint. We talked a little bit about the written and the oral, so if there's anything that you missed, it is recorded, and there were lots of questions asked, but it'll be helpful. Is there any more questions? Going once, twice. All right. It looks like everything got covered, unless I missed anything in the chat. I don't think I did. But feel free to email. I've sent a lot of emails to you guys. If you've applied, you can respond back to those notices. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. The written exam is going to be February 15th. You'll have a full day to take it. It is online. Please pay attention to the instructions in the notice. If you have a Mac or if you're using a certain browser, it could affect your test. So make sure to read the full notice. If you have technical difficulties, call me or call Critical if you think that it's an issue on their end. They'll have their support number once you start taking the test available. But other than that, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Bakersfield, for answering the questions and being here to support. We are excited.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a
guys.
good night,
Welcome.
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Hang out for a second.